Hey, welcome to Parents Under Construction podcast. We're so glad you could join us. I'm Michael Jarquin, and my friend and mentor, Dr. Ed West, are recording our conversations for the purpose of supporting Christian parents with biblical solutions to child rearing. Our goal is to provoke parents to change ahead of their children. It is what is necessary for this thing called parenting that God has mandated. Again, welcome, and we hope you get something out of these discussions.
What I'm trying to do now is get past the trigger of this thing. The trigger is walking away. And so I'm trying to gradually get him used to me walking away without getting upset. That's all. But I'm not talking to him on it.
This is so good.
It reminded me that I think for anybody listening to this, parents, if you have a child, this is common, right? So you have a child who let's say you put in some kind of daycare. Maybe it's just the YMCA. And you want to go work out, and you want your child to enjoy the daycare while you go work out. And you leave your child there, and your child does start screaming and crying, and you go back and you take the child out because you just can't be done in your eyes, right? But this is exactly what you're saying. There is a way to fix this.
There is. The child learns that this is how I get you back into my life. Mm-hmm. Is that how you want me to do it? Do you want me to do it by crying? Or would you rather have something else that's reasonable? Yeah. It's the same way by getting down from the table. A 3-year-old at the table raises cane, he's telling me he has to leave the table. That's what he's trying to do.
You know what? This week we practiced the sign language more. So I would sing to him his favorite song, and I would stop, I'd take his hands and say, "More, please." And by Friday, after I sang the song, he was doing...
Oh, he's doing more now?
To hear my voice.
I just love that. That's amazing when children do that.
And then when I sing to him again, he does it again, and I keep singing until he's like, okay, I've had enough. Yeah, it's wonderful. Raising the two before your book, I see it as night and day. Having read the book and taking care of the newborn from birth till now, it's been amazing. It's a difference. It's like night and day.
With the newborn, all you have to do is talk to the other kid while you're dealing with the baby.
That's true.
If you just keep your, just like right now.
So the kid will get what the kid needs.
Yeah, like right now.
I was like, remember she was craving attention when I went to, I had to give her eye contact as I'm holding the baby.
Right now, the three of us are sitting at microphones looking at each other around a table. Who are we talking to?
Each other. But we're hoping that there'll be other people listening to us.
All the other people out there electronically is who we're talking to. But it seems like we're talking to each other. Do you see that?
Yeah.
Yes.
That's the way you do it with children. Is I want you to hear my voice. I want you to hear my voice because it's my voice that you get a kick out of, right? Yes. That's the baby. The 3-month-old baby doesn't even have a foggiest what you're talking about, but hears your voice and gets a great big kick out. Now, what about the 2.5-year-old? He knows who you're talking to. So you keep your conversation to him. The baby gets all the benefit of it. And meanwhile, the 2.5-year-old's getting talked to. Do you see that?
Yes.
That's not hard.
No, it's not hard. Yeah. Your book should be like a pre-course to having a baby. Just like...
Yeah, right.
It is. It should.
I wanted to say a word about now the insight that children have about questions. How old is a child before you would ask him a question and he would give you a yes or no, do you think?
I'm going to start, say 4 or 5.
Probably earlier than that.
Really?
1 year.
Maybe 1 or 2.
When you ask them a question, it'd be yes or no.
Yeah. Do you want something to drink? Do you want your
toy? Wow.
You want your toy? He perhaps nod his head or make some racket.
Yeah, some kind of noise.
Okay, that's the answer. Whatever it does, that's the answer. Now, what is the meaning of the answer is he perceives that the way your voice raises it with a question, do you want this? Your voice goes up.
The inflection.
He doesn't know what a question mark is.
He only knows the inflection.
But he does recognize that at the end of the sentence, if the sentence drops off, it's not the same thing as the sentence goes up.
Right.
Right? And so when the sentence goes up, what he now understands is I give an answer.
Yep.
The answer might be yes or no. It might be a nod of the head or a shake of the head. Do you see that?
Yep.
All right.
I do.
So here's a question for you. Will you go take a bath now? Is that a question or a command?
Sounds like a command. There's no inflection.
Is it intended as a question?
It is intended as a question, but there's no inflection, so he can't make that connection.
Okay, no, wait a minute. I'm not making my point yet. Is my intention that he take a bath?
Oh, yes.
My intention is that he take a bath?
Yes.
Is my intention that I just now directed him to take a bath and he would follow my direction? Will you go?
I mean, yes.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, the communication's not there.
Would you say it's a polite way of saying it? Yeah, it is a polite way of saying it. Will you please go take a bath?
You're not mad or angry or anything.
Will you please now go take a bath as a polite way of saying go take a bath? Do you see that?
Yeah, right. Yep.
So
it's like
okay, now this is the way we would talk to each other.
Yeah.
As adults, we would talk to each other this way. Will you please?
That's true.
Will you please turn down the light, or would you please close the curtain, or something like that? All right, that's the way we would talk to each other. It's actually a direction, but it's formed as a question. It's formed as a question.
Yes.
You see that?
Yes.
And children learn to watch for that rising at the end of the sentence as demanding an answer. So, will you please go take a bath? And the kid says no. You would say that's disobedience. I would say he's answering your question.
Got it. I understand now. So we got into this habit of saying to each other, don't ask the kids questions because then you're going to get an answer. Would you go wash the dishes, please?
No,
I don't want to watch. Can I do it later? Like, don't ask them, because what you really want is for them to go do the dishes. Like, tell them they should go wash the dishes. So what you're saying is politely say, please go wash the dishes.
Okay, now let's talk about it. Please go wash it. That would be a polite way to do it.
Yes.
Does a child understand that at age 2 about please?
No.
No, it doesn't understand it. And so the child has a very concrete processing of words at age 2. Wash, dishes. Might know what wash means, might know what dishes means. You see that?
Yeah.
But would not know what please go wash the dishes mean.
Right.
All right. Age 4 would probably know what that means. I don't think you tell a child at age 4 to wash the dishes, but let's take something else like go put on your coat.
But if you start saying it, eventually they learn what it means.
Okay, they learn eventually. But the point is that in the process of learning the words and what the combination of the words means as a direction to go do something, disobedience is occurring because I don't understand.
It's too many words.
I don't know what we're talking about.
So it's this picture right here.
Yeah. And so then I'm getting upset with you because you're not doing what I'm saying, and yet I don't even know what the words mean together like you're using them right now. I don't have that skill yet to understand what the words mean as you put them together that way. Yeah. All right, so you get upset with me because I'm not obeying you. I'm trying to answer you the best I can understand what you're saying to me, but I still don't know what we're talking about. Yeah. And this is a child's problem. Now, the children get frustrated with this, and they finally just lose it.
Yeah.
And we see the result of it. They get upset, we get upset, and blah, blah, blah. And here we go. And it's all because we started it by not thinking through where's the kid in his language development.
I was looking at this illustration that you drew. I want to kind of describe it for people listening. It looks like a mother with a gun, and words is coming out of the gun. And she looks like she's going crazy. That's what we do, is we just throw out words that the kids aren't understanding, and we're expecting them to understand it.
And then we get frustrated because they don't. They get frustrated because they don't. We all get frustrated.
Yes.
And so much of it is because we started by bringing it up.
We started all in the beginning, from the very beginning.
The saying that children are like sponges, right? They are.
It's like, I should take you guys like pockets, put you in a pocket and take you to work with me, because all of these things you're talking about, I'm actually living through like 10 to 20 times a day.
Let me ask you this. Have you heard one of your friends say it wasn't fair?
No. What do you mean, was it fair?
I don't know. Somebody got something and somebody else didn't get something.
The little ones saying that's not fair? No, I don't think they understand that.
When do you think they start saying that?
4?
I guess when somebody's taught them the word.
It's usually 3 or 4 when you start hearing about it's not fair.
Yeah.
Oh, the kids.
Okay. Now, this is a really important teaching because it has to do with the way we work with each other. They've done a lot of research and basic research in psychology and the way we, as human beings, perceive fairness intuitively in social settings. Because we're social critters. This is part of who we are as humans, is we're social. And we have an awareness of possession and distribution.
Yeah.
And there's something that registers about this is for you and me, and you got yours and I got mine.
Yeah.
So we register these things. And children can do this quite early. They can do it quite early. A 2-year-old gets his. Doesn't really care what else happens, but he gets his.
Yeah.
But a 6 or 7-year-old says, I got mine and you should get yours too.
Oh.
Or you got more than me.
Or you got more than me. And they're more likely, by the way, to notice that they didn't get what was fair than they are to notice that they got an advantage from what happened.
Yeah, I'm noticing this. I don't see that in 2-year-olds.
No,
I don't see them making that recognition.
No, they don't have the insight.
As long as they're getting whatever they wanted, they're kind of just caught up in that.
I want to tell you a story that happened to me. I was assisting a woman who was in the public school in Beijing, China, years ago. She was actually a Christian missionary, and the Chinese government had asked her to come over and teach English as a second language in Beijing Elementary School. And her assignment was to teach not simply English, but American culture. China today, as you know, is a world player, and they're very much involved in international intrigue, and they're all over the place. 20 years ago, they were learning about the world.
Yeah.
And they were trying to get people ready to be doing this. I met a guy on Tiananmen Square that year who came up to me and said, can I show you my art? And he had a portfolio with him. He was an artist. He wasn't trying to sell me anything.
Okay.
He wanted to show me his art, he said. I said, sure. And he showed me really nice paintings that he'd done. He said that he was in his 20s and he was learning to be an artist, and he wanted to make sales to Americans someday, but he needed to learn how to speak English, and he wanted to practice with me.
Wow.
Interesting.
And so he described his paintings to me. I said, tell me about this. And he described his paintings to me in English.
Wow.
And I helped him with certain things that he was trying to talk about, because I'm an artist too. I was saying, well, if the way I would talk about this is like this, then I would use words. And he'd say, what does that mean? And I would tell him what that meant. And he'd say, oh. It was a really interesting conversation. So anyway, I was at the school teaching these second graders. It was Easter time. And I won't go into all the details of why I was there and what happened, but I was using the word share. I said, have you all heard the English word share? And I'm speaking through a very skilled Chinese interpreter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was really good. I mean, he knew English impeccably.
Okay.
And he was speaking to the children as I would speak. Do you understand the English word share? No, they hadn't heard that.
I don't think there's a word in our language for sharing.
Okay.
I'm going to have to ask.
You mean in Laos?
Yeah.
Now, I want you to think of China in those days. None of those children had siblings.
Yes. One child, all male.
Right?
Yes.
They didn't have siblings.
Oh.
And so there was no one to share with in their homes. You see what I'm saying? Okay, so they weren't familiar with share, even though it's a communist country.
I was just going to say that.
Sharing is the principle of communism, is sharing, right?
Right.
But they didn't know what the word share meant in English. And I said, sharing means I have something and I give you some of what I have. And they thought about what that might mean. I said, it's not easy to share, by the way. It's not easy to share.
Yeah.
This was at the time of Easter when I was teaching, and we had a guy, my friend who was with me, had his Easter bunny costume with a great big paper mache head with the Easter bunny and a big furry white suit that he wore. And he was jumping around the room. The kids loved him. I taught for, I think, 4 days in the classroom, one day after another. And the last day, I said, last night the Easter bunny came in here, and like I told you he would, and he left a surprise for us. Well, they all got real excited. And there's about probably 30 kids in the class, and about 6 rows of maybe 5 kids in a row, and desks. And so I said, the Easter bunny came and left something for us. When I tell you to, I want you to look for it. I said, in each row, in one desk, is a surprise. Everyone look and see. So the children opened up their desk quickly, and sure enough, in one desk in each row, somebody pulled up a plastic Easter egg. Well, he held it up like he had won the gold medal in the Olympics. Yeah. And the other kids go, big deal. He gets the egg, I don't get the egg. Yeah. You can see it on their faces. Right. And the guy who got the egg was really, really happy. Yeah. I said, now open up the egg if you got the egg and share what's in the egg with the people in your row. Uh-oh. Well, they didn't like that at all. The guys that got the eggs, are you doing that? I said, come on now.
Everybody else had their hands out.
And boy, everybody else got all excited now. Yeah. Now the guy with the egg opens it up, has to hand out the jelly beans to everybody.
Yeah.
Okay, I said, that's called sharing. Okay, they didn't know the English word, at age 8 or however old they were, right? 7 or 8 years old. children don't have any concept of sharing for years. Naturally, probably 3 or 4 years old is where they start kind of seeing something about it. Mm-hmm. And so a child might be in a daycare, let's say, with crayons, and the crayons are on the table with 2 other kids, right? Right. I'm using this one and you're using that one. Well, I want that one. Well, he's got that one. I know and I want that one.
It can turn into a fight.
And here we go. I don't know how it's going to work out.
Yeah, that's usually how it turns into somebody that's really upset. Yeah, I've recognized that teaching children how to share is you sharing with them first.
Now listen to this. A 2-year-old says it's not fair. Our 3-year-old says it's not fair. Mm-hmm. He's not saying this is not just for you and me. He's saying I didn't get what I want.
Yes.
That's what he's really saying.
Yeah.
He's using the word, it's not fair, to express, I did not get what I want.
If you're enjoying the conversation, I think you'll get a lot out of Doc's book titled, How You Feed a Cat. That is, How You Feed a Cat because I told you to feed the cat and you listened to me. This book is full of Doc's experiences as a pediatrician, father, and husband. It sheds light on the role of a parent in the child's life and how we as parents need to change ahead of our children. You can find the book on Barnes & Noble's website or in the app, and the link is in the description below.
As parents, if we don't see this, we're liable to get into a discussion with him about sharing, and he cannot handle the discussion, but he loves to hear us talk about it. And so what's the best way to get you to talk like that again? To not share. To not share, and you'll give me another lecture on sharing. And how about another time? Yeah, don't share again. You'll give me another lecture on it. When you keep giving the lectures on sharing, he doesn't even process what we're talking about, but he is getting you to talk.
What I'm finding too, as of late, probably the last month now, is my 2.5-year-old knows what the 2-year-old wants, runs into the room and grabs it before she can get her hands on it.
Ooh, really?
Yes, and then I'll run over there.
Well, that's evil.
And I say, stop, we're not going to do that. I'll take it out of his hand, and it doesn't work.
Okay, let's talk about that. How old's the older kid?
2.5.
And the other kid's how old?
2.
Okay, what is the stuff that you were talking about?
Anything, a stuffed doll, crayons, whatever she finds delight in. If her eyes are locked on it, he sees it, and he'll dash for it, and he'll say, I want it.
So he's watching her, the older child's watching the younger child,
Yes.
sees this happen and makes this move. Okay, do you see it happen?
No. Sometimes I do, sometimes
But
I don't.
you recognize what's happening.
Before I mean, especially of late, because he was doing it quite a bit, and it causes chaos, being the 2-year-old doesn't understand what he's
No, the 2-year-old's not the player.
So she says, I'm sorry, which means she wants an apology, or I don't know. She's
been wronged.
Or I think because
She wants the kid to say he's sorry.
Yes.
She wants the 2.5-year-old to say
Yeah, and I'll do it. I'll say, come over, say sorry. And he goes, sorry. And she goes, sorry. And then I'm like, now sitting here, I'm realizing these kids don't know what sorry
They don't know what they're talking about.
And he just really wants what he wants when he wants it.
Let's try this again. You ready?
Yeah.
Okay. First of all, I would not try to teach about sorry on this one.
Yeah.
Because this is a different teaching right now.
Yeah.
The first thing I do is try to break it up. And the way I would break it up, perhaps, would be to say these two people can only play together with me paying attention to them. Other than that, they play separately.
Yeah, we do a lot of separate play, which has been noticed by some of the parents. And I say that's the only way I get peace and harmony.
Separate play, because see, socializing, if you just watch a bunch of 2-year-olds in a class,
yeah,
they don't play with each other. They play in parallel. They each have his own stuff. They bump into each other occasionally. They run into the same thing, wanting the same thing at the same moment. They have a dispute with each other, but they don't play with each other.
Correct.
3-year-olds and 4-year-olds begin to play with each other. You see that?
Yeah.
It's not important for 2-year-olds to be playing with each other. It's probably a trouble because of what you're saying, that they're learning some bad habits.
It's even dangerous for us to play with them. But I mean, really, like the best way to play with the child that little is just to get in the room and play by yourself.
Just play by yourself.
And eventually they kind of come in.
They'll join you.
And then you begin to teach them that this is playing together.
That's right. Meanwhile, I would not draw attention to this because the child's learning a habit innocently probably, which is really not a good habit, and that is to take advantage of a younger child like this. All right, so what I'd want to do then is, first of all, I would try to keep them playing separately. I would try to minimize the amount of stuff out that I had to defend.
Yeah.
That would give him opportunity.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
And then I would watch him carefully like a hawk. This is kind of like, let's say you come into the room and there's a little dog over in the corner. And you've never seen the dog before, and he's just laying over in the corner. You go over and you watch the dog, and he's just asleep.
Yeah.
And so you walk over and you scratch him behind his ear, and he kind of opens his eye and looks at you and wags his tail. And you sit down and you say, that's a nice little dog. I say, yeah, he's a nice little dog, but he bites you, be careful. Would you go over there and scratch his ear again?
No.
No, you wouldn't.
Nobody would.
No, I wouldn't go scratch his ear again.
No.
Yeah, I'm glad it didn't happen that time, but he could bite you now. All right, so you have this knowledge. Once you have the knowledge, don't let it happen again.
Okay, so I want to bring something up because one of our key themes here is that children are changing and parents must change ahead of their children. And our goal in all of this is to provoke parents to change ahead of the children. And so what you just said was watch that child like a hawk.
Yes.
I'm the parent. I don't have time for that.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, that's the problem.
No. It's not the problem. The problem is you identifying times when you do have time for it or when you're trying to get something done. You're teaching or you're getting something done.
And that's called child rearing. When you're teaching, it's called child rearing. When you're not teaching, it's called getting stuff done.
Right.
And so you're aware, I've got a moment here. I could put these two kids together.
Yeah.
I don't have a moment here. I got to keep them separate.
We're just going to get things done.
I can't watch them now. I got stuff to do.
Yep.
All right. The phone rings. I'm watching them and the phone rings. Well, do something. Split them up or else don't answer the phone. But make your mind up. I'm watching children. I'm getting stuff done.
Yeah, I've been getting a lot of that. Why is so-and-so down there? And this one's over here. And that one's over. It's the only way I can get anything done.
I know.
Yeah. Another thing in the book. I'm telling y'all, I got to get this book.
You wouldn't do that with, say, I don't know, animals. You wouldn't try to make them understand that they need to leave each other alone if they don't get along.
Well, then when we come together to have moments together, we are actually together and enjoying it. We're not.
Yeah.
And that's what you can get.
That's teaching.
And that's what you can get. This is where manners now come out.
Right.
Manners begin to come out because they've learned enough self-control. Mm-hmm. Okay. I want to teach you the manners of a just distribution of crayons.
Right.
I have a box of crayons. I've got two and a half year old children. I've got a box of crayons. That's not going to work. That's not the time to do it. Mm-mm. I put him on this side of the table and him on that side of the table where they can't get to each other. And he gets his box and he gets his box. That's how you do the 2.5-year-olds.
Right.
3.5-year-olds, I would say, yeah, let's share crayons. And we'll talk about sharing crayons. And I want to watch you all share. Which crayon would you like, Larry? I want the orange crayon. Mm-hmm. Okay, Nancy, give Larry the orange crayon. She listens to you. Mm-hmm. She gives him the orange crayon. You did really well, Nancy. That's how you do that. Mm-hmm. Now, which crayon would you like, Mary? I want the purple crayon. Okay, Tom, give Mary the purple crayon. And Tom gives Mary the purple. Now he listens to you. But you see how important listening is.
Yeah.
The first year or two is about listening.
Right. Well, CJ just said a word, teachable moments.
Yeah.
That's kind of another thing where you as a parent need to recognize if your child is in the state of mind to be taught. If they're not in the state of mind to be taught, there's no sense in teaching.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. When that teachable moment is like, this is it. Pick up, pack up, and leave. We went on a picnic yesterday. 2 2-year-olds and an 8-month-old. 2 lunches, car seats, a mat for the ground. It was great. It was so lovely. The weather was nice. They were playing. And that could not have happened if I did not teach them those things little by little by little.
Yeah.
We're going to walk across the street by holding hands, looking left and right. Probably 4 or 5 months of doing that before they would learn. When we get to the street corner, you're going to stop and look. And then we're going to stay out in the backyard and see if we could play well together. So yesterday was a success because I took 2 or 3 months to go over each and every step before we could get to the picnic.
Isn't that wonderful?
It was wonderful. And then I knew that these kids only have 10 minutes of play before they will cry and get tired.
So get out of there.
Yes. So I set my timer on, and it wasn't even 10 minutes. It was 8 minutes. I was like, we're going to go now.
Time to get out of here.
Yes.
They had a successful time because you knew the children. You knew how good they were for.
Yeah.
You got out of there before they crashed.
It was so beautiful.
And all they remember is it was great. It was just great.
It was so great. I got them frolicking. I sent you the pictures yesterday. Everybody ate their food. And this I wrote down for the next, if you guys have another talk on food, of what happened with the food, what I've been training through your book, of course. If they don't want to eat it, I put it away for later. So yesterday was the morning, parents give them breakfast. I had them for lunch with the picnic. Whatever they didn't eat for the picnic, they had for snack when they woke up. Whatever they didn't finish for snack, they had for dinner. And the parents saw that the children ate what was put in front of them. If you just keep giving it to them, don't give in to the crackers, the juice boxes, or anything like that. In fact, the one that was the picky eater ate 10 fish sticks, 10 tomatoes, all of her rice, cauliflower, and broccoli at the same time. She would not stop eating. We were like, you're going to bust your stomach. You have to stop. Let's drink water. Let's drink water. And so these things, these teachable moments, they're great when you actually see them.
I think that, not to interrupt, but I think that this is a great stopping point. We've gone over our time here, but this is a really great stopping point because I think that this is something we can segue into the next time we talk. We can talk about this subject because it's a huge subject with parents and kids.
You're talking about teachable.
Teachable and the whole food stuff, like how to deal with your kid and eating, and you're recognizing your kid being teachable. Yeah. So anyway, this was a great conversation, and I look forward to our next one. Thank you for tuning in to today's podcast. We hope that you've gotten something out of our discussion. If you've enjoyed listening, please support us by subscribing to our show